Be Date with the Plate, and I am back for another live. Sorry, I got something in my eye. What in the world? Okay. Soon as I get on the live. Anyway, I am back with another live. I am going live every single day until the end of the year. You guys know the story who have been coming on, so y'all jump on, jump on, jump on. And I'm back on. At first, I was talking about the government shutdown, the EBTs, and things like that, and I'm still gonna keep sending resources for that kind of thing. People with food, I did hear on the news that they were saying that pantries are starting to stock up and they have allocated different budgets and they're moving money to be able to help people. So if I find more resources, I'm going to come on here and let y'all know. But I wanted to kind of switch gears today and talk about, we had a series going, Marriage on the Menu. And we were talking about the appetizer. And we had three parts. The appetizer, which is getting prepared. Number two is the entree. And the entree is the relationship itself. When we ain't even got to that, we still on the preparation. Sometimes it takes a while to prepare. You know, when you are braising something, and or it's a stew, it needs a couple of hours, or marinating needs a few hours, or it needs a longer time to marinate and get all those juices and spices in it. So that's why we are still on preparation. And then third is going to be the dessert. You're already in a relationship and you're trying to keep it spicy. So still on the appetizer and preparing. And the reason why I wanted to get on here and talk about it is because I was sent two stories. And I went ahead and I watched those stories, and they were very interesting. And it gave me a thought about preparing. So, the first story was about what we already talked about. We talked about, if you're preparing for marriage, that there are a few things that you have to kind of look into and consider. Now, these aren't the four be all things, and some people don't care, but statistically, they say if you agree on these four things, usually your marriage is going to last a lot longer. It's going to last. And they talk about kids, like the amount of kids, the way you discipline your kids, that kind of thing. It talked about religion, if you guys are on the same page spiritually. It talked about if finances, if you're on the, and these are not any particular order, but it talked about finances. Are you on board with debt, spending, things of that nature? And then the fourth thing is in-laws, boundaries. How are you guys going to, treat your in-laws, or how much input are in-laws going to come in? Because, you know, I get along with my mother-in-law. She's amazing. My father-in-law too, like great. My husband gets along with my mom, and he met my dad before my dad passed not too long ago. And my dad really liked him. He didn't say anything bad about him or anything like that. So I believe they would have gotten along really well. My family loves my husband, and I love my family's husband. They love me. So it's not like that sticky, crazy thing, but we don't have young children together. So that's another thing. And then my in-laws don't like bombard my house or anything like that. Like, they'll call, but they don't even come over. We go over there, but we have boundaries, but we didn't even need to set them because they're not invasive like that. But anyway, some people do need to set laws and boundaries for their in-laws, because I know some mother-in-laws will come over and they'll take over. They'll start cleaning your house. They'll start disciplining the kids. They start doing the most. They'll start telling you how you not doing stuff. So anyway, if you agree on those things, they say that statistically you're supposed to have a more lasting or better relationship. So with that, the first story that I was sent was about a young lady who was dating a guy, and he invited her to church. So I think this story is pretty much going viral. The second story I'm gonna tell y'all is definitely going viral, but the first one is he invited her to church, and she decided to go. And so she didn't give context of how long they had been dating or anything like that. So she says that church started at 10 a.m. and the guy pulled up at her house at 9:20. She didn't give context of how far the church was away from her home or anything like that, but she did mention that she was 5 minutes late. She allegedly was 5 minutes late. She could have been 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes late. She could have been 30 minutes late. But she said she was 5, so let's give her that. If she was 5 minutes late, she came out at 9:25. We still have no context and no clue how long it took to get to church that started at 10 o'clock. So when she gets in the car, she requests that they go to Starbucks. Now, anybody who knows Starbucks, and I don't go to Starbucks anymore, but when I used to go to Starbucks, most times, unless it was a weird time or day, most times I'm sitting at Starbucks. I'm sitting in the line, I'm sitting at the counter, whatever. So we don't know how long it took them to get through the line of Starbucks, and he was nice enough to actually stop and do that. So they get to church. She claimed it was exactly 10 o'clock, allegedly. Let's say it was. Allegedly, it was 10 a.m. She gets on, they get to church, and then she tells him that she has to basically do her lips. Okay, we want nice lips. And she just probably had her Starbucks. Let's say she had a muffin. She got to get the crumbs off. I totally get that. But then she also mentions that she has to get oil off the bottom of her shoe. So she's doing all these things. And the guy is like, hey, I don't want to be late to church. She's like, well, I got to do whatever. He's like, listen, we already late. I'm going to give you my keys. And you come in when you ready or when you done. She gets mad or anxious. I don't know what it was. And she called her friend and told her friend to come pick her up. He comes back out and he's like, you going in? And she's like, no, I'm not going in there because you left me. Whole theatrics out in the parking lot. She got on the internet and asked, was she wrong? Now, when you are dating someone, it's great to get on the same page. I'm not saying that I think what she did was a little extra. And I don't know if the story is fully, it was 10 o'clock, they were walking in, but he might be a person that's like, I don't want to be late to church. Like, it's embarrassing walking in and some people don't care to be late. There are other people who care about other people's time. That's one of the things that's bad about now anyway. Nobody respects each other's time and value. You tell somebody to pick them up at 10 o'clock and they don't come till 10:30. You tell somebody you having a party at 5 o'clock, they don't show up till 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7. You wasting people's time. So I don't know how anal he was about the time and things like that, but it's great when you're dating somebody to get those little kinks out. Are you on the same page of what I believe? If you're not, are you willing to deal with somebody who doesn't believe in what you believe? If you go to church Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, is that person going to want to go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? That's a song. You have to be on the same page with those kinds of things. So, if you want to go to a Pentecostal church, and I know none of that stuff, like, it is just like, just go to church and believe in Christ. Like, why we got to have all these denominations in this, whatever. If you a Catholic, if you apostolic, if you Pentecostal, all that, are y'all on the same page of what you want to be? Are y'all going to raise y'all kids in another faith? Or are you going to raise them in this faith? You have to be on the same page with that. And I do believe if you're dating and once you guys get those kinks out, then it'll be able to blossom and flourish. So this was just like another thing letting you guys know that you have to be on the same page as things. I am pretty sure after that date, he was like, yeah, no, never again. Because I feel like he must have liked this girl to bring her to church. Church is very intimate. If you're dating someone and you take them to church, like, that is, I mean, unless you're just trying to see something or you faking the funk and that ain't really your church Family is who you cry on, who some of them know your business. You get in prayer. That is a very intimate setting. So I think he probably liked her. And then she just, I say she wasn't really taking it serious. So for me, it's kind of like the Starbucks thing was a little much. Then you came out a little late. It was just 5 minutes, she claimed, but still, just like be at the door. Why he gotta wait? I don't have time to talk about the second story, but I'll go ahead. I'll talk about it tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow. I'm going live every single day, and I'll tell you guys about the second story. Y'all want to hear about this? It is a makeup artist found out that her man she was dating was actually somebody else's man. So I want to talk about that as we're preparing for Marriage on the Menu. All right, it's your girl, the real Gina B. Date with the plate. Only eat it if